Thank you for taking a minute to make a comment.
Thank you for sharing the good stuff with Clermont.
All right. Thank you, Claire. Have a good afternoon, good weekend. Commissioner Painter, can you give me a comment around Clermont DD?
No.
Bonnie, can you give me a comment about Clermont DD?
Mr. Hicks, I don't have anything to say to you.
Today on Friday, May 23rd, I came to the Clermont Developmental Disabilities graduation. I couldn't have been treated better by Dan Ottke, the superintendent, or Megan, the principal. I got a nice interview with Dan. I also got a nice little interview with Claire Corcoran, Commissioner.
With this, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, Commissioner Claire Corcoran, Commissioner David Painter, and myself, we say congratulations on your graduation today, and we wish you the very best in the future.
Victoria, on behalf of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, I will present you this certificate. It reads Victoria Brandsburg. Congratulations on your graduation from Wildey School in Clermont County. We wish you the best and brightest future from the Board of Clermont County Commissioners. Victoria.
Well, we are proud to announce Victoria Brandsburg with this prank one last time. Congress Day 2025.
I've got Commissioner Claire Corcoran here, just asking her for a few comments around Clermont DD. She was at the ceremony. You did not get to go to the podium to make a presentation, but I'm sure you would have done fine.
Quite all right. That's not why I'm here today.
So tell me about this program and what it means to you and any ways that you've been touched in your life by people with developmental disabilities.
I have a brother who was disabled, and I can tell you that there was not a facility like this anywhere in the United States of America years and years ago. He would have absolutely thrived here. If you've seen the swimming pool, it's absolutely gorgeous. The staff is so dedicated, including the board and the president that you have here today. 56 years the Collins have been coming here, and the Wildey family is here, who this school is named after. And because of their dedication and support and the good people, all the people of Clermont County, Ohio, this place has thrived. And I can't be any more proud. It's one of the best places we have in Clermont County.
I was unaware. I just came to, I saw it on your commissioner calendar. And I was in between something, and I'm going to go to this. It's 12:15. And do you have any, if you don't, that's fine, but do you have any idea of how many students there are here?
I do not have a total number.
Okay.
But I know that Dan Ottke would.
Yep, I'll ask him. Thank you for taking a minute to make a comment.
Thank you for sharing the good stuff with Clermont.
All right. Thank you, Claire. Have a good afternoon, good weekend.
He's somewhere floating around here.
Commissioner Painter, can you give me a comment around Clermont DD?
No.
No comment about Clermont DD either. Okay, I'm going to ask Bonnie Batchler. Bonnie, can you give me a comment about Clermont DD?
Mr. Hicks, I don't have anything to say to you.
Claire just did a little interview, so you won't comment about the program? Or?
Hello.
So I'm here with Dan Ottke, and the ceremony just ended, a very good ceremony. And Dan, I had a couple questions about just like how many, anything you want to tell the community about this, but how many students are there here? So on and so forth.
Yeah, so the Wildey School, it's been around for as long as pretty much Clermont DD has been around. But over the years, students have, and which is a really positive thing, have been able to be included in their school districts and be able to serve through their local school districts. But for those students who need us, we're here. And so we partner with our local school districts to provide services here at the Wildey School. We serve right now about 45 children, and that's the whole gamut. So it's really from kids who are 5-6 years old all the way up to, we saw a couple graduates today.
Okay.
So we serve the whole, really kind of the whole school age population.
And so today, excuse my ignorance of things,
No.
I mentioned I had a cousin that had Down syndrome that I spent time with years ago. He's older now. But when you look at developmental disabilities, I'm not, my mind, I think, what are the typical ones, but that's not the right word to use, but what are the most common developmental disabilities that are going to come through these doors and we're going to be working with?
Yeah, well, typically, I don't know if there's any kind of like standard or anything. Obviously, and certainly what we do is we have a whole process in terms of if there's, the one thing I always share is if if there's a parent that is out there that has any concerns about their child developmentally, we're here to be able to help with that. So we have an intake staff that actually you can contact us. And sometimes those are things that maybe are a little more evident, like something like Down syndrome.
Okay.
Sometimes it's maybe not as evident. So maybe
Okay.
sometimes a child isn't developing maybe because of some speech delays or something where it might be something that relates to a young child with autism, but that isn't
Okay.
quite apparent at the moment. So what we obviously encourage is, and we have an early intervention program as well. So if there's a situation where, especially for a parent who has a very young child, please contact us if you have any concerns, because
Okay.
what we can do is we can make sure to have some of our early intervention staff come out and maybe start to just do some assessments to determine maybe if there's any help
So
needed,
to
that kind of
get
thing.
engaged with the program, does a parent work through their school district to you, or do they come here directly, or does it matter?
Yeah, for the school program, it would be work. Now they can contact us, but we would be working with the local school district. So we partner with all 9 school districts in the county.
Okay.
So if that's the situation, but they can contact us, and then we would just connect with the districts for the school program.
And I don't want to seem simplistic here or ignorant, but I'm assuming that also relates to funding and so forth, that if somebody comes here and they're through a school district, that helps you from a funding perspective, or how does funding
Yeah,
work?
so we partner. So we do partner with our school districts, and,
Okay.
and they help us with they supply the funding in terms of being able to.
So I know, like in my cousin that had Down syndrome, they lived in Forest Hill School District, and they had programs in the schools. And so help me to separate out what are the kind of things that are programs in schools versus where you come here.
Yeah, so really the most important thing in relation to anything in relation to a school like ours, obviously our first step is to make sure that the student is served in the least restrictive environment. So that what we always are striving for is a student to be able to be assimilated with their fellow students who are maybe non-disabled, that kind of thing. But in certain situations where maybe there's more intensive needs, maybe either from a medical perspective or maybe from a behavioral perspective or things of that sort, we're here to be able to provide those more specialized services. And those are all processes that go through the schools and to be able to figure that out.
And there was a perception, and it could be reality, like I remember doing buddy walks and stuff like that, and that there's a perception. I live in the western part of the county, that, for example, that Hamilton County had better services and, stuff like that. But how would you compare, or how do you feel like, because sometimes I think there can be misperceptions, there might be real perceptions, but of the services that are available here in Clermont County versus, say, Hamilton County as being a much bigger county next to us.
I think those are always kind of the tug and pull of situations in relation to resources. What I've always said, and what I'm always proud of in terms of services here in Clermont County, we're big enough that we can do some pretty specialized things,
but small enough that you can be personal.
We can be pretty personal. So it's a situation where I can, even as a superintendent, there are oftentimes where I have a lot of direct contact with different situations just because of the size of kind of what we are. But that's not, to be derogatory. Hamilton's got a lot of resources. They got different things too, but certainly it's always one of those things
Does your role is specific to this program, or is there a role, I don't know, statutory, that where you have some role relating to the districts as well, or how does that work?
No, so I do not have any role with the districts.
Okay.
I work in partnership with the other superintendents around the county, so that's that's a positive. But in terms of my role, it's just limited to the Clermont DD as a whole, which encompasses not just our school, but encompasses really birth to death.
Other services outside of this building.
Exactly. So we partner with a lot of different private providers in terms of residential.
Well, I appreciate. I wasn't sure. I appreciate